The trade hub station hung against the backdrop of 3 overlapping galaxies, its crystalline spires reflecting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Inside the Grand Assembly Chamber, Ambassador Sarah Chen stood before the Council of Three, her simple blue uniform a stark contrast to the ornate chamber's splendor. The room's ambient temperature fluctuated as the luminary representatives pulsed with barely contained amusement. "You propose," the Axiom Elder's crystalline voice chimed, "that humanity is ready for unrestricted trade rights across our territories." Multiple facets of its crystalline form caught the light, casting rainbow patterns across the chamber floor. Sarah maintained her diplomatic smile, gesturing to the holographic display of Earth's most advanced vessels. "Our ships may be modest, but Earth has established successful colonies on Mars and Europa. We have demonstrated our ability to maintain stable space installations." The verdant representative, a towering figure of bioorganic technology, rippled its sensory tendrils. "These vessels still rely on chemical propulsion. Your most advanced engines barely achieve 0.05 light speed." Its voice carried the rustle of wind through ancient trees. "We work with what we have," Sarah responded, her tone carefully measured. "Humanity has always been resourceful." The luminary elder, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate field generator, flared brightly. "Resourceful, yes, like primitive creatures finding novel uses for sticks and stones." The other luminary pulsed in synchronized amusement, their light show reflecting off the Axiom representative's crystalline forms. Sarah advanced the holographic display, showing Mars Colony 1. "Our achievements may seem modest by your standards, but we have transformed a barren world into a home for 10,000 colonists. Our Europa research station has unlocked secrets of extremophile biology that even the verdant found noteworthy." The verdant representative's tendrils twisted in what might have been embarrassment. Their scientists had indeed expressed interest in human research on extreme environment organisms. "Noted," the Axiom Elder chimed, its tone dismissive. However, the Triangulum Alliance maintains certain technological standards. Your species simply hasn't achieved the necessary level of advancement. Its crystal segments shifted, forming a pattern that universally indicated a closing discussion. Sarah nodded, gathering her data crystals with deliberate care. "We understand. Earth will continue our development independently." She tucked a strand of dark hair behind her ear, a motion that coincidentally revealed a small pin on her collar, unremarkable except to the most careful observer. The luminary elder's energy field rippled. "Do not be discouraged, Ambassador. Perhaps in another century or two, humanity will achieve the necessary capabilities. We are nothing if not patient with developing species." "Your patience is appreciated," Sarah replied, bowing slightly. As she turned to leave, her hand brushed against her collar pin, pressing it twice. To anyone watching, it would have appeared a nervous gesture. The council chambers emptied quickly, the various representatives returning to their sectors through quantum gates that made Earth's most advanced propulsion look ancient by comparison. Sarah walked unhurried through the station's grand corridors, pausing occasionally to admire the view of the 3 galaxies through vast windows. At her private shuttle, a junior aide waited with her travel cases. "They rejected the application," she stated rather than asked, helping Sarah load the luggage. "As expected," Sarah replied, her diplomatic mask finally relaxing into a genuine smile. "Send word to command. Phase 1 is complete." The aide nodded, then hesitated. "Ambassador, was it difficult? Presenting outdated technology, knowing what we really have?" Sarah stepped into the shuttle's airlock, her expression thoughtful. "Sometimes the best way to protect people is to let them underestimate you." She glanced at the trade hub's glittering spires one last time. "They'll understand soon enough." As the primitive chemical engines of her shuttle ignited, Sarah thought about the quantum cores hidden beneath the decoy propulsion system and about the massive shipyards waiting in the darkness beyond Neptune. The 3 galaxies had made their choice. Now humanity would make theirs. Admiral Marcus Santos stood at the observation deck of Installation Deep Black, watching quantum-forged hull plates materialize around the skeleton of humanity's newest Dreadnought. The massive shipyard, hidden in a dimensional pocket beyond Neptune's orbit, stretched for kilometers in every direction. Construction drones swarmed like fireflies around dozens of vessels in various stages of completion. "Status report," he requested, his voice cutting through the quiet hum of the station's systems. The holographic display materialized beside him, showing Commander Elena Rodriguez's face. Ambassador Chen's transmission came through clean, Elena reported, her eyes glancing at data streams flowing past her. "The Council rejected our application exactly as predicted. The Luminary were particularly condescending." "Sir." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "They always are. How's the Hyperion coming along?" The view shifted, showing a massive dreadnought nearing completion. Its quantum-forged hull absorbed nearby light, creating a silhouette that seemed to bend reality itself. Final calibrations on the dark matter core are proceeding ahead of schedule. The engineers solved the containment field fluctuations by incorporating some of the precursor crystal matrices we found in the Mariana installation. The same technology they all ignored because it looked like simple mineral formations. Marcus mused, watching energy patterns ripple across the Hyperion surface. Humanity's greatest advantage might be our inability to overlook anything. Elena's image nodded. The Axiom dismissed those crystals as inert structures during their initial survey of Earth. They never realized the formations were actually data storage devices containing quantum-forged schematics. A soft chime interrupted their conversation. A new hologram appeared, showing a massive structure buried 2 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean floor. "Speaking of the Mariana installation," Marcus said, "Dr. Chen reports they've accessed another chamber. This one contains what appears to be tactical data about the threat that drove the precursors to hide their technology on Earth. That explains why they chose us," Elena said softly. "They must have seen something in humanity's pattern recognition capabilities, our drive to explore and understand. While other species saw worthless rocks, we found the patterns." Marcus turned away from the observation window, walking to the command center's central platform. Holograms sprang to life around him, showing the status of every shipyard in the Sol system. Each one held dozens of vessels that would rewrite the galaxy's understanding of possible technology. "Launch status?" he asked, scanning the readouts. "All ships are maintaining quantum superposition. As far as the 3 galaxies know, we're still struggling with basic ion engines." Elena's voice held a note of pride. "The quantum synchronization network is stable. When the signal comes, we can transition the entire fleet into normal space simultaneously." Marcus nodded, watching as construction drones applied the final quantum-forged plates to the Hyperion's bow. The massive ship would serve as his flagship when the time came, but for now, it remained hidden along with humanity's other achievements. "The precursors chose well," he said, more to himself than Elena. "They needed a species curious enough to find their hidden legacy, patient enough to develop it in secret, and wise enough to use it properly." He paused, studying a readout of the latest deep space scans. "The threat they warned about is still coming, but thanks to their trust in humanity's potential, we'll be ready." Elena's hologram shifted, showing new data streams. "Sir, we're detecting increased activity from the Axiom mining fleets near the edge of our space. They're probably planning to harvest resources from what they think are unprotected human colonies." "Let them come," Marcus replied, watching the Hyperion's dark matter core pulse with contained power. "Everything is proceeding according to plan. When they realize their mistake, it will be too late to hide the truth any longer." As if in response, the quantum-forged hull of the massive dreadnought seemed to ripple, its surface absorbing all light, until it appeared as a ship-shaped void in space. Soon, the 3 galaxies would learn that humanity's primitive appearance had been the greatest deception in cosmic history. High Commander Vex of the Axiom Collective studied the holographic display of the human colony world with growing anticipation. Its crystalline form sparkled as it processed the sensor data streaming from the mining fleet's advanced scouts. The planet below, officially designated as New Eden by the humans, showed rich veins of quantum-resonant minerals, resources the primitive Earth species couldn't possibly be utilizing. Scans confirmed no defensive installations, reported Sub-Commander Lix, its crystalline segments shifting in what passed for eagerness among their kind. The human settlement appears to be concentrated in a single location, population approximately 50,000. Proceed with resource extraction protocols, Vex commanded, watching as the first wave of mining ships began their descent. Ensure minimal disruption to the colony. We are not barbarians, after all. The fleet's massive ships, each one a masterwork of crystalline engineering, moved into position around New Eden. Their presence alone would have been enough to cow most developing species into submission. The humans below gave no indication they'd even detected the fleet's arrival. Curious, Vex noted, observing the colony's continued normal activity. No panic, no emergency signals. Perhaps their sensors are truly as primitive as their ships suggest. The first mining vessel activated its extraction beam, preparing to draw mineral-rich sections of crust into its processing chambers. The beam touched the planet's surface and disappeared. Energy anomaly detected, Lix reported, its crystalline form vibrating with confusion. The extraction beam appears to have been redirected. Before Vex could respond, points of light winked into existence around the fleet. What had appeared to be empty space rippled as quantum shields dropped, revealing dozens of orbital defense platforms. Each one bore the same mark, a simplified outline of the human homeworld. Impossible, Vex whispered, its crystalline structure resonating with disbelief. Their technology level. Multiple energy signatures detected. Lix interrupted, its voice taking on the harmonic of alarm. The platforms are generating quantum fields we've never. The defense platform closest to the mining ship pulsed once. A beam of concentrated dark matter lanced out, cutting through the vessel's impenetrable shields as if they were vapor. The ship's crystalline structure began to unravel at the quantum level, its crew experiencing their final moments in perfect clarity as their very atoms were gently, almost elegantly, pulled apart. Full retreat, Vex commanded, but the platforms had already moved to surround the fleet. Each shot was precisely calculated, disabling rather than destroying when possible. Ships that attempted to flee found their quantum drives refusing to engage, trapped in localized fields that seemed to bend the laws of physics themselves. In the command center of Platform 01, Lieutenant Sarah Martins watched the engagement through mural-linked displays. All targets contained, she reported to the Quantum Secure channel. Minimal energy expenditure, no collateral damage to planetary infrastructure. Confirmed, came the response from Admiral Santos. Maintain position, but do not respond to any communication attempts. Let them wonder. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she watched the remaining Axiom ships power down, their crews realizing the futility of resistance. The platforms had performed exactly as designed, a perfect demonstration of power without unnecessary destruction. In his crystalline command chamber, High Commander Vex faced a reality his species had never contemplated. The debris of his lead mining ship drifted past the viewport, each fragment a testament to technology that shouldn't exist. As emergency signals died in quantum-dampening fields and escape routes dissolved into twisted spacetime, a terrible understanding crystallized in his consciousness. The humans hadn't been struggling with primitive technology. They had been waiting, watching, preparing. Send word to the collective, Vex ordered, its voice carrying harmonics of defeat. The humans are not what we thought. The message never reached its destination. Throughout the system, quantum communication networks had gone silent, leaving the Axiom fleet alone with the consequences of their grave miscalculation. Above New Eden, the defense platforms maintained their vigilant watch, their dark matter cores humming with contained power. A power that would soon reshape the understanding of 3 galaxies. The Luminary investigation vessel, Light's truth emerged from its quantum corridor into the debris field surrounding New Eden. First Illuminator Zena, her energy form pulsing with curiosity, observed the scattered remains of the Axiom mining fleet through the ship's enhanced sensors. Fascinating. She communicated to her crew, her thoughts transmitted as patterns of light. The molecular structure of these fragments suggests quantum-level decomposition, not destruction, deliberate disassembly. Junior Illuminator Kex, barely a century old and still learning to control these luminescent frequencies, moved closer to a particularly interesting piece of debris. First Illuminator, these alloys. They're exhibiting properties that contradict our understanding of metallurgy. The light's truth glided silently through the field of crystalline fragments, its advanced sensors prodding each piece for answers. The ship itself was a marvel of luminary engineering, composed of contained plasma and pure energy, capable of parsing the fundamental forces of the universe. Second anomaly detected, reported Senior Analyst Vera, her form shifting through shades of blue. The space around the human colony shows traces of localized reality distortion, similar to our quantum corridors, but far more sophisticated. Zena absorbed this information, her consciousness expanding to interface directly with the ship's sensor arrays. The humans had displayed nothing close to this level of technology during their Trade Hub presentation, which meant, "We've been deceived," she announced, her energy pattern shifting to alert status. "All vessels, full sensor sweep. Find those defense platforms." The investigation fleet spread out, their energy-based sensors reaching into every spectrum, every dimensional fold. The platforms had to be somewhere. Technology this advanced couldn't simply vanish. Junior Illuminator Kex suddenly flared bright white. First Illuminator, I'm detecting unusual patterns in the space-time fabric. It's almost like the space itself is reality twisted. Where there had been empty void, dozens of platforms suddenly existed, as if they had always been there. Their surfaces seemed to drink in light itself, making them visible only by the stars they obscured. "Impossible," Zena whispered, her form flickering with disbelief. "They've mastered quantum superposition on a macro scale." Before she could order a retreat, new signatures appeared on their sensors. Massive ships emerged from fold space, their hulls composed of materials that defied analysis. Human ships, warships. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force." A calm voice transmitted on all frequencies. "Your presence has been noted. Please be advised that any aggressive action will be met with appropriate response." Zena's form pulsed rapidly as she processed the implications. The humans hadn't just hidden their technology. They had achieved things the Luminary had deemed theoretically impossible. "We are a peaceful investigation fleet," she transmitted back. "We mean no harm." "Understood," came the reply. "However, this system is now under restricted access protocols. You have 30 minutes to complete your current scans and depart." Senior Analyst Vera's energy pattern fluctuated with alarm. "First Illuminator, they're generating quantum dampening fields around our quantum corridor generators. If they wished, they could strand us here indefinitely." Zena processed this threat with growing respect. The humans had not only matched luminary technology, they had found ways to counter it. Her consciousness expanded, taking in the full scope of the human fleet's capabilities. Their ships weren't just advanced, they represented a fundamental leap in understanding of universal laws. "Begin withdrawal procedures," she ordered, her tone carrying harmonics of both fear and admiration. "And prepare a priority transmission to the Luminary High Council." She paused, watching as another human warship phased into existence nearby, its dark matter core pulsing with contained power. The humans have not been developing. They have been waiting. As the light's truth retreated from New Eden, Zena caught a final glimpse of the human fleet through her sensors. Their ships hung in the void like silent guardians, their very existence challenging everything the Luminary thought they knew about the limits of possible technology. the age of underestimating humanity was coming to an end. Deep within the living archives of the verdant confluence, Master Archivist Thelora moved through corridors of bioluminescent memory strands. Her tendrils brushed against the organic data structures, each touch revealing millennia of stored knowledge. The emergency reports from both the Axiom Collective and the Luminary flowed through her consciousness like tributary streams joining a river of understanding. "Most fascinating," she whispered to the pulsing walls. Her assistant, Junior Archivist Pell, emerged from a nearby data cluster, his photosynthetic membrane rippling with excitement. "Master Archivist, you need to see this." Pell's tendrils waved in agitation. "I found a correlation between Earth's radiation signature and an ancient warning embedded in the precursor records." Thelora followed him deeper into the archives, where the oldest memory strands grew in intricate spirals. These records predated the verdant confluence itself, preserved through countless generations of organic data transfer. The walls here pulsed with a deeper, more primitive bioluminescence. Here, Pell connected his primary tendril to a pulsing node. This strand contains a survey from 50,000 years ago. The precursors specifically marked Earth's solar system with a quantum signature that matches the energy readings from the human defense platforms. Thelora interfaced with the ancient data, her consciousness expanding through layers of stored information. Images and sensations flooded her awareness. Earth, young and volatile, being seeded with crystalline structures that appeared worthless to advanced scanning technology. The precursors had hidden their legacy in plain sight, counting on the planet's primitive inhabitants to eventually discover it. "They chose humanity," she breathed, her tendrils curling in wonder. The precursors saw something in these beings that none of us recognized. A new alert pulsed through the archive's neural network. The Luminary investigation fleet had retreated from human space, their sensors overloaded with readings that defied their understanding of physics. Thelora processed this information against the ancient records, patterns emerging like growth rings in a sacred tree. "The quantum forged signatures," she announced, her voice carrying through the living walls. "The humans didn't develop this technology. They inherited it. The precursors left them a pathway to advancement that worked alongside their natural evolution." Pell's secondary tendrils twisted in confusion. But why choose such a young species? The Axiom or Luminary were far more advanced when the precursors vanished. Perhaps that was precisely why. Thelora moved to a higher cluster of memory strands, accessing more recent data. The humans' primitive state meant they had to understand each step of their development. They couldn't simply apply advanced technology. They had to learn why it worked. Warning pulses suddenly reverberated through the archive chamber. Long dormant defense protocols activated as new data flooded in from across 3 galaxies. The humans weren't just revealing their technology. They were demonstrating capabilities that exceeded even the precursors' recorded achievements. "Send an emergency signal to the Confluence Council," Thelora commanded, her tendrils flying over neural interfaces. "Priority level absolute. The humans haven't just matched the precursors' legacy. They've surpassed it." As if in response to her words, the oldest memory strands in the chamber began to pulse with an ancient warning sequence. Thelora interfaced directly with the signal, her consciousness expanding to encompass its full meaning. What she found there sent waves of fear and awe through her biological systems. "The precursors didn't just leave their technology," she whispered, her voice carrying harmonics of revelation. "They were preparing humanity for something. Something that drove them to hide their greatest achievements on a primitive world, knowing it would take millennia for those achievements to be found and understood." Throughout the living archive, warning signals continued to pulse. The time of underestimating humanity was over. Now, the 3 galaxies faced a choice: acknowledge their mistake, or face the consequences of their arrogance. Above them, through layers of biological architecture, the stars seemed to pulse with ancient knowledge finally coming to light. The emergency session of the Triangulum Alliance filled the Trade Hub's grand chamber with a tension thick enough to distort sensor readings. Crystalline axiom representatives vibrated with barely contained stress, while luminary delegates pulsed in agitated patterns. The verdant contingent's tendrils twisted anxiously as they processed the latest reports. High Elder Crystallix of the axiom spoke first, its voice chiming with harmonics of distress. 2 mining fleets lost. Complete quantum dissolution of our most advanced ships. The humans possess technology that should not exist. Our investigation fleet confirmed similar impossibilities. First Illuminator Zena added, her energy form flickering rapidly. They've achieved macro-scale quantum superposition. They can disable our quantum corridors at will. Master Archivist Thylora's tendrils wave for attention. The archives speak of greater concerns. The precursors chose Earth for a purpose. The humans haven't just found their legacy, they'd surpassed it. A subtle vibration passed through the chamber. At first, the delegates thought it was simply the station's normal operations. Then the quantum sensors began screaming. Space itself rippled like water disturbed by falling stones. Around every major system in 3 galaxies, massive shapes began to emerge from quantum superposition. The trade hub's own sensors captured the emergence of a vessel that dwarfed the station itself, a dreadnought of impossible proportions. By the first light, Zena whispered, her form dimming in awe. They've been here all along. The human fleet revealed itself in perfect synchronization. Each ship was a masterwork of engineering, their quantum-forged hulls drinking in light, while their dark matter cores pulsed with contained power. The designs defied conventional physics, incorporating technologies that seemed to bend reality itself. On the trade hub's main display, hundreds of signals appeared simultaneously. Each represented a human vessel larger than anything the Alliance had ever constructed. Their formation was not random. They had positioned themselves strategically throughout all 3 galaxies, maintaining perfect quantum synchronization despite the vast distances involved. Incoming transmission, announced the station's eye. Origin, Earth Defense Force Flagship Hyperion. The chamber's holographic system activated, displaying a massive command deck that seemed to stretch into infinity. Admiral Marcus Santos stood at its center, his uniform bearing the simplified Earth emblem that had become a symbol of humanity's hidden power. Honorable representatives of the Triangulum Alliance, he began, his voice carrying the weight of authority without aggression. For centuries, you've watched humanity struggle with what you considered primitive technology. Today, that illusion ends. The display split, showing feeds from across 3 galaxies. Human dreadnoughts hung in space like silent guardians, their presence a testament to patience and preparation. Each one represented a different aspect of their advanced technology: quantum forges, dark matter manipulation, dimensional engineering. We don't come seeking revenge for your dismissal, Santos continued. We come with a warning and an offer of alliance. The precursors didn't hide their legacy on Earth by chance. They chose us because they saw something in humanity that matched their own observations, a threat approaching from beyond the galactic rim. Master Archivist Thylora's tendrils curled in recognition. The ancient warning patterns. They speak of darkness between galaxies. Correct, Santos nodded. The precursors fled before it, hiding their knowledge where they believed it would be found by those capable of using it wisely. We've spent centuries preparing not just for our revelation, but for the defense of all sentient life. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices, questions, and demands. Santos raised his hand, and the display showed a new image, a massive construction yard hidden in fold space, producing ships that incorporated technologies from all 4 civilizations. The choice is yours, he concluded. Continue underestimating humanity, or join us in preparing for what comes next. Our fleet stands ready either way. Around the trade hub, quantum-forged hulls gleamed in starlight. The greatest deception in cosmic history had ended, replaced by a truth more staggering than any race had imagined. Humanity had not just emerged onto the galactic stage. They had rewritten the rules of the performance itself. The Hyperion's command deck stretched before the assembled representatives like a cathedral of advanced technology. Admiral Santos stood at its center, surrounded by displays showing real-time data from across 3 galaxies. The alien delegates, 3 from each civilization, had accepted his invitation to see humanity's true capabilities firsthand. This vessel, Santos began, gesturing to the quantum-forged walls around them, represents the culmination of 2 centuries of development. But more importantly, it carries the legacy of a civilization that saw both humanity's potential and the coming darkness. First Illuminator Zena's energy form shifted through shades of curiosity. Your quantum superposition technology exceeds our theoretical models. How did you achieve stable macro-scale manifestation? The same way we achieved everything, Santos replied, activating a holographic display. By learning to see what others overlooked. The display showed Earth's Mariana Trench installation, its ancient halls filled with crystalline data structures. The precursors hid their most advanced research in plain sight, disguised as natural formations. High Elder Crystallix's form chimed with revelation. The mineral deposits our surveys dismissed as worthless. They were data storage devices. More than that, Commander Elena Rodriguez stepped forward, holding up a small quantum crystal. They were teaching tools, designed to guide humanity's development at a pace that ensured we would understand each advancement completely. Master Archivist Thalora's tendrils waved in excitement as her sensory organs processed the ship's bioneural interfaces. You've combined precursor quantum technology with organic computing principles that even the verdant haven't mastered. Because we had to learn from the ground up, Santos explained, leading them deeper into the ship. The corridor opened into a massive chamber dominated by the Hyperion's dark matter core, a sphere of contained impossibility that pulsed with power. We couldn't simply apply advanced technology. We had to understand why it worked. The display shifted, showing long-range sensor data from beyond the galactic rim. In the void between galaxies, something moved, a darkness deeper than the space around it. The precursors called them the Void Hunters. Santos' voice grew grave. They consume not just matter and energy, but the fundamental forces that bind reality together. The precursors couldn't stop them, but they believed humanity, given time and their legacy, might find a way. The alien representatives processed this revelation in their own ways. The Axiom's crystalline forms resonated with harmonic patterns of concern. The luminary's energy signatures fluctuated with calculated probabilities. The verdant's tendrils twisted as they accessed ancestral memories. Your deception, High Elder Crystallix chimed softly, was not about revenge or power. You needed time to prepare. And resources, Elena added, bringing up displays of the hidden shipyards. Every gram of quantum-forged metal, every dark matter core, every advancement we've made. It's all been in preparation for their arrival. Santos activated another hologram, this one showing designs for new vessels that incorporated technology from all 4 civilizations. The precursors chose humanity because we possessed something they lacked: the ability to unite different approaches, different technologies, different species toward a common goal. You offer alliance. Zena's form pulsed with understanding, not from weakness or fear, but because unity is humanity's greatest strength. Precisely, Santos smiled, gesturing to the endless rows of quantum-forged ships visible through the chamber's viewports. We've spent centuries preparing for this moment. Now we ask you to join us in the next phase of preparation. Master Archivist Thalora's primary tendril raised in question. The ancient archives speak of darkness between stars. How long do we have? Based on the precursor calculations and our own observations, Santos brought up a timeline display. Less than a decade. But together, combining your established technologies with our developments. He let the sentence hang, full of possibility. The chamber fell silent save for the harmonic hum of the dark matter core. Outside, the human fleet hung in space like a promise, not of dominance, but of protection. The 3 galaxies faced a choice that would reshape the future of all sentient life. The age of deception was over. The age of unity was about to begin. The combined shipyards of installation Deep Black hummed with unprecedented activity. Where once humanity worked in secrecy, now teams of all four civilizations collaborated openly. Admiral Santos watched from the quantum-linked observation deck as a new class of vessel took shape below, one that incorporated the strengths of each species. The quantum crystal matrix is stabilizing, reported High Elder Crystallix, its form resonating with pride, as Axiom engineers guided the installation of a hybrid core. Your forged techniques, combined with our crystalline precision, have achieved energy densities we thought impossible. Nearby, First Illuminator Zena's energy form danced through holographic displays, her consciousness interfacing directly with the ship's systems. The bioneural pathways are accepting the light-based processing nodes. Response time has improved by 300%. Commander Elena Rodriguez smiled as she studied the readouts. The prototype vessel below represented everything humanity had hoped for. True cooperation born of necessity and mutual respect. Its quantum-forged hull incorporated Axiom crystal matrices, powered by luminary energy systems, all controlled through verdant organic computing cores. The Bastion class, Elena announced, reading the designation from her neural link. First of the unified defense fleet. Master Archivist Thalora's tendrils waved in approval as she monitored the biological systems. The ship lives and breathes as one organism, despite its diverse components. Much like our alliance itself, the observation deck's displays shifted, showing similar construction efforts across 3 galaxies. Humanity's hidden shipyards had become centers of unified development. The Axiom's crystalline cities now housed quantum forge research centers. Luminary energy wells powered new defensive grids. Verdant bioarchives integrated with human quantum databases. Long-range sensors are detecting increased void activity, Santos noted, bringing up the latest data. The darkness between galaxies had begun to move with purpose, though it remained years from arrival. The precursors' predictions are proving accurate. As was their choice of humanity as guardians, Zena's form pulsed thoughtfully. Your species' greatest strength isn't your technology or your deception. It's your ability to bring unlike things together in harmony. Below them, the Bastion's systems came online for the first time. Its hybrid core pulsed with combined power. Dark matter contained by quantum crystals, channeled through light-based circuits, regulated by living computers. The ship represented not just technological advancement, but the birth of something entirely new. Final system checks complete, Elena reported, her neural link streaming data from all departments. The Bastion is ready for dimensional trials. Santos nodded, watching as the massive ship's engines powered up. The vessel was larger than anything humanity had built alone, yet more elegant than any previous design. Its very existence proved that cooperation could achieve what competition could not. Launch sequence initiated. Crystallix chimed, its form resonating with the ship's power signature. The Bastion rose smoothly from its construction cradle, its hybrid systems working in perfect synchronization. The Void Hunters seek to unmake reality. Thalora's tendrils moved in ancient warning patterns, but they have never encountered unified resistance before. The Bastion's quantum drive engage, creating a dimensional fold unlike anything previously achieved. The ship didn't just move through space, it rewrote the laws of physics as it traveled, leaving possibilities in its wake. Begin mass production at all unified shipyards, Santos commanded, his voice carrying across quantum-linked networks to every facility in 3 galaxies. The age of division is over. The age of unity has begun. As the Bastion completed its first trial run, more keels were already being laid in shipyards across space. Each one would carry the same message. 4 civilizations, united by choice and necessity, preparing to defend all of reality itself. The stars seemed to shine brighter as the ship returned to dock, its hull gleaming with promise. Humanity had kept its secrets, built its strength, and revealed its power not to conquer, but to protect. Now, with the combined might of 3 galaxies behind them, They would face the darkness together. The deception was over. The truth had served its purpose. The future belonged to unity.